On this episode of the Spark Podcast, I've worn enough tight suits in order to pay the bills, okay?
Really?
Yeah. There's the one guy in the corner by himself like, this is so delicious. And then there's the other guy scarfing down the food as it is, or is that what you're trying to say? No. Okay. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Spark Creative Podcast over here on the Connor IRL channel. You have myself, Connor, and my beautiful fiance, soon-to-be wife.
Dude, I'm about to be your wife.
Shauna Brown. That is crazy. Like, literally in 4 months.
Yeah.
You're going to be my wife.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh.
Haley, that's inappropriate. She's looking herself. But yeah, 4 months you're gonna be my wifey.
You're gonna be my husband.
I'm gonna be your husband. If you guys have noticed some changes here on the set, it has been a little bit since the last time we recorded a podcast.
Yeah, we had this like really inspirational start. We were like, we're gonna make a podcast. It's 10:30, 11 at night. We're gonna do it, and then literally maybe a week later, I got COVID.
Yeah, Shauna Brown got COVID.
So we've been on a pretty serious hold. A couple times we're like, yeah, like we could record. I could be wearing a mask. He could be wearing a mask. And then we just were like, no, let's just
like,
wait.
What's the point? Yeah, like would rather wait for you to like get better.
Yeah.
Than to like kind of push through it. And then all of a sudden, like 30 minutes in, we're out of energy.
I'm out of breath.
You're out of breath. You're like crunching on cough drops because Lord knows neither one of us can just suck on those cough drops. Let's rephrase that. Anyways, guys, this is a Spark Creative Podcast. We kind of try our absolute best to have a positive attitude with everything when it comes to the topics that we create, and we strive to inspire with positivity here in our community. So
yeah,
if you guys are new here, if you guys are audio listeners, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you. And if you guys are video viewers over on the YouTube channel,
hello,
thank you. We appreciate you. This is one of the many different types of content that we kind of do here on this channel. I'm gonna bump me up one more button. One of which is like vlogs and stuff.
Yeah. So we've been like really hard at work at like dialing in our workflow.
Yeah.
It's been tricky just because as soon as we felt like we got in a roll, I got COVID, and
yeah.
But like I feel like Connor's doing a really good job at looking at all of his different like outlets and different channels and being like, okay, like what's the priority? And like, where do I actually have time to fit all of this in, and how can I make sure that it's high quality?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's like the biggest push that we've been going for this past time since the last time we kind of recorded. I mean, like obviously, like, look at our setup, like huge shout out to Elgato.
I can't even.
Oh my gosh!
It.
Like I talked to Miguel, who's my guy over there at Elgato, and he was like, I can get you whatever you need to make the podcast like better, make it happen. So he sent us these amazing Wave 3s, the low profile arms, and we got the ring light now. It's like literally this podcast setup it's so much better than last time.
Yeah, absolutely. It went from like rinky dinky to okay, we're doing a podcast, and to be able to have the support of sponsors like that are just like ready to support you in whatever kind of new venture you want to pursue. That's just, I don't know. Elgato has a special place in my heart.
Yeah, honestly, they're one of the biggest supporters that we have here on the channel. Speaking of support, shout out to our sponsors. 1, Elgato. 2, Control, a meal replacement company. If you guys don't know what Control is, it is a meal replacement. So while you're gaming and living life, lifting those weights like we do, instead of getting fast food, you can get a little Control shake. They're all like cereal inspired flavors and stuff, like Cocoa Puffs.
And if you're looking at Connor thinking, he is looking mighty fine. He looks like maybe he's getting his fitness and wellness together. Yes, he's lost like 15 pounds.
Yeah, I've lost a lot of weight.
And
all my larges fit again.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Which is crazy.
It's crazy. And I'm right behind you.
Yep. I think well, the good thing is like even after like COVID, like your results kind of stayed the same. like from before, like me, when I get sick, my results usually, I like gain weight. Like I'm always like,
Yeah.
give me Wendy's, give me McDonald's every day until I'm feeling better.
But I was gonna say, like, the control shakes are a big part of
Oh,
like
yeah.
those results. Like,
Absolutely.
it's just so easy to be like, "Ah, I'm hungry. I really want something that's gonna like taste good and like make me feel good."
Yep.
And a control shake, you're not really sacrificing anything to have like a good balanced meal.
Right.
And, it's not like having a protein bar where you're like,
Right.
oh,
Yeah, exactly.
you're
This
like
is
you're
gross.
trying to like convince yourself that it's good. Like, control shakes are actually bomb.
Yeah, they're really good. So once again, thank you again to all of our sponsors. If you guys are interested in any of that stuff, link is down in the description below with all my codes as well. But on to the main topic. This one was suggested from It's Mark to the Future, the one and only Spy himself.
Yeah, man of mystery.
Man of mystery, It's Mark to the Future.
Is his name even really Mark?
Probably not. It's probably like Markiel Robanovich or something like that. Yeah.
So, how do you feel about social media and its impact on society?
Okay.
Okay, so let's break that down. How do we feel about social media?
Right.
This is an interesting topic because Connor and I have like chosen different routes on how to approach social media.
Yeah.
And that makes sense for us to do it differently for like a lot of different reasons, both personal and professional.
Yeah.
So why don't you take a hack at it? What do you think?
Yeah. So, I mean, I 100% agree. I mean, like, I was literally just thinking the other day, like, I don't know what I was doing, but I was literally like I was on my computer and like a thought just like, boop, downloaded into my brain, right? It was crazy how different Twitter is nowadays versus how it used to be. Like, Twitter, when I was on it, when I first got on it, oh, it was Jersey Shore. I don't know why it was Jersey Shore, but it was like, the thing that would pop up in my brain was like when something would happen on Jersey Shore, like let's say like Ronnie and Mike got into a fight, I would go to Twitter, and that's what people would be talking about.
Right.
And it was more of like a social media from like pop culture kind of a perspective.
Okay.
But like now when you go on Twitter, at least on my Twitter, and like the trending stuff,
Oh my gosh.
it's all controversial.
Yes.
There's barely ever a single positive thing that's in the trending section that is not
and even if
positive.
Even if it is positive, it in my opinion, I've found that oftentimes it's like, sure, it's not negative, but it's promoting like a materialistic drive in life, or like, oh, the new iPhone, or it's like a marketing ploy.
Or like if like Tesla stocks are down, then Tesla's the one that's like trending, and you're like, oh shoot, did they come out with the new Tesla? And you go in and it's like shareholders have sold all their stocks.
Right. So like I think people even get excited about seeing things that aren't negative or catastrophic or disturbing.
Okay.
But really it's just like companies. No, I have a lot of thoughts here, so I'm excited about this topic.
Right. And so like we can kind of focus specifically on Twitter right now if you want to.
Sure. So for me, and I want to stay positive about this because I think that there are some positives. For example, we live in the Ventura County area.
Right.
And in 2017, there was a huge fire, the Thomas Fire.
Yeah.
And it broke out so quickly. I was in college, and I remember it was like a really windy day, and it was like, oh, there's a fire in the distance. And then the entire county's power went out. And it was just like, it escalated so quickly.
It was a very fast moving fire. I remember that one. It was crazy.
Yeah. And it went through the foothills of Ventura, and like went, into kind of like the downtown area, and it all happened so fast.
Yeah.
And, like, holy moly, so thankful for our first responders. And like, I'm grateful for how they try to communicate, but they couldn't get the information out fast enough. But there was someone on Twitter who could, who
The
was
scanner, right?
right,
Yeah.
right. And so like there was someone who was relaying the messages from the scanner to the people like of Ventura County.
Right.
I mean, 15, 20 minutes before first
Like,
responder pages could get that information
yeah.
out, you know? And that 15 minutes that's huge.
It's life changing.
Right.
Like for like specifically if like you're I mean like if you need to evacuate.
Yeah.
Like you could literally like I mean for an example, my parents a long time ago when I was still working at Lowe's, so this was over 5 or 6 years ago. There was a huge fire, the big old Soledad fire it was spread across the entire like it was almost from like Silmar to Santa Clarita area. It was a big fire.
Yeah.
And I remember like I saw the smoke and I was like, oh, like I'm just gonna like keep working. And then I like texted my mom and I was like, hey, is everything okay? She's like, we're on evacuation watch.
Dang.
And I was like, oh, I'm going home because like I was like, one, I'm not about to be stuck in traffic for hours while this fire gets taken care of. And then like two, like I didn't even want to give that like situation a chance to like ruin our lives kind of a thing. And like going back to like what you said is like that scanner, like that guy or whoever is running that account is like saving so many people and their belongings. And I know we talk about like not being careful about like materialistic stuff, but like family stuff,
photos,
like pictures, yeah, exactly, like all that stuff's like super important. So like that guy is,
or even like just like getting out with your pets, getting out with your kids,
or like understanding the backside of the situation before it's like too late.
Right. And it's like nothing on first responders, but it's just so hard to get that information out accurately and like so widespread. And so in that case, in that specific situation, social media was something that was so vital and so critical.
It was a good thing from it.
Yeah. And but like on the flip side of that, like literally I can take the same situation and tell you how that fire and Twitter, like I was in a rabbit hole because at that point you can look up hashtag Thomas Fire and it'll tell you the latest tweet about
or like
that.
what people are tweeting about it and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. And so I literally would just be on my phone. And so this is where like my personal reasons for being off of social media come in is because like.
Yeah, maybe we should preface that. Shauna Brown is not on.
Oh, yeah. Right. I'm not on social media.
Yeah, she's not on social media. She's not on Twitter. So she still has her accounts.
I still have my accounts.
Right. But you just don't have the apps on your phone.
No. And I don't go on like my browser or anything like that. I do have Pinterest though, and we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I don't have social media. I haven't had it for maybe like 3 months.
It's been a while now, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while, and I do not miss it at all, which is awesome. I'm really excited about that. But I would get lost in such a hole, and like for me, the line between like relaxation and like I'm relaxing on the phone. It wasn't relaxing though because it was so overstimulating
and like fueled by like, Twitter and Instagram and, like,
and it would just
scrolling.
Right, it'd be like Twitter, so Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, and bouncing around between those ones.
Right, and I saw this thing. What was it? It was on Big Mouth, which the
phone thing.
Yeah, like don't watch it if you're like.
But so quick note, Big Mouth that's like our favorite show right now. It's so funny.
It's so very raunchy.
Yeah. Very, very raunchy. If you're a parent, do not watch it with your kids.
No.
If you're a teenager, do not watch it with your parents.
No.
Kind of a thing.
Yeah. But it was they personified a phone, and it was like the phone was like, good morning, like you're already so behind. You've missed everything. It's like, oh my God, that's so true.
Like that's crazy to think about.
You like wake up, you roll over, you open your phone. And it's like that. I mean, you end your day scrolling on your phone. You begin your day scrolling on your phone.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel a huge amount of like presence and like just I don't know, like enjoying where I'm at and what I'm doing and like this is real.
Yeah.
Like I can touch you and I can
She's
see
touching my hand,
you
by the way, audio listeners.
and like the rest of it real.
Yeah. And if it is, it's like it's usually like it's either funny or like that's the way that I see things now. Like they're either funny or there's like a problem behind what's going on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's either like devastating or funny. And honestly, a lot of the like comedy, like meme culture is like also connected to like making fun of how effed up like life is.
What do you mean?
These days? Like it's like whenever something terrible happens or whatever, it's like then there's memes about the terrible thing.
Oh, yeah, like right away. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like just I think it's just a coping mechanism. I think that's like how some people.
I could see that. Yeah, like me, like myself, Paul and I were actually just talking about this the other day. But if you guys don't know who Paul is, I'm just kidding. Everyone knows who Paul is. We were just talking about this, but like it in a way, it's like we both kind of hide like, or we kind of deal with awkward situations by like either like laughing through it or like it's either like laughing through it or like trying to make a joke out of the situation in order to add some comic relief to the pressure, I guess.
I know some people do that too to like deflect attention too.
Right.
It's
to deflect the attention from a situation that's happening.
Right. Or like deflect from like if the spotlight is on you, it's like, okay, joke. And so that like it gets past.
Right. Yeah. And I think I do that a lot. I genuinely think I do that a lot. And it's not like intentional. It's just what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And like, as weird as it is, like I'm an introvert kind of a thing, I guess. Like, I don't know. How do I describe that? Like I'm an introvert, but like I'm on the internet kind of a thing.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of creators that probably relate to you in that way. I also think that the line of like introversion versus extroversion is it's very binary.
Right.
You know, it's like you're this or you're that, but it has to be I really think that it could be so much more complex than that.
Yeah. And so like going back like circling back to like our topic, but like a lot of these people that are on the internet are like introverts in reality. And then like for you, you're an extrovert, right? And so like you like to have like the thing that's there. You like the social interactions and stuff like that. And you like to talk to people in person. But like me, like I'm an introvert. But I think that a lot of these people that are having this negative impact and this negative viewpoint when it comes to social media, like they're the ones causing the issues. They're the introverts. And they're like hiding behind keyboards. And like so like it goes back to like this keyboard warrior mentality from both sides of the spectrum, but it's like people are like, oh yeah, you'll say that, but like if you wouldn't say that to me at my face, kind of a thing.
I think that there's like a lack of humanity and decency on social media, regardless of whether you're an extrovert or an introvert,
because you're protected
right,
air quotes behind the
it's
wall.
the same thing as like, you know, when you're okay, well, some people don't live like a lot of people don't live in the city or whatever. But if you go into the city, it's like someone will literally just like cut you off 2 feet in front of your car. Right. Multiple people could have died.
New York.
And like, can you imagine someone cutting you off like that in a grocery store? Like, just like them just being like, and just keeping on going.
Right.
They would never, but there's this disconnect. And imagine it happens even when there's a glass window and you're a couple feet from each other. How does that like translate to social media where you're like miles and miles away from each other?
Right, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
But I think also like it goes the other way to be more positive. I can be incredibly kind to somebody who's across the world who maybe needs a bit of positivity or kindness or compassion and I couldn't reach them,
Oh, okay.
before too. So there's that, but I don't know. My view of social media is that more often than not, it goes in the direction of like overstimulated,
right,
indecent, like
yeah. But I think on the flip side of that too, there is a pretty large positive impact from social media. Kind of going back to like what you were talking about with the fires and stuff like that. But I think like charities and like GoFundMe's and stuff like that, like those get a lot of like pushes. They get a big push from social media. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that like they can have that outreach,
Yeah.
and I think like that is like a positive thing on society, where it's like instead of someone hanging out outside of a grocery store, it's like it can get fed to you by like a boosted post technically on Twitter or Instagram in order to help a good cause like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that there are isolated situations where there is a huge benefit that comes from social media.
Right.
And I think those are the reasons that we always go back to be on social media. Like, we want to stay connected with family, friends, and we want to document our life, whether it's through pictures, video, posts, whatever. But it's like, if you look at those reasons you want to be on social media, and then you look at the usage or the experience that you're actually having, do those two things align? Or are you staying on social media for these very, I think that they're valid reasons, but then when you're on social media,
those reasons kind of go out the door.
exactly.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's like the same thing where like I'll get on my phone and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get some work done, and then all of a sudden I'm on TikTok. And I'm on TikTok for like 20 minutes. And then I'll be like, whoa, wait, where I was watching all these memes Paul sent me.
Yeah. There was a little bit of like a social fear for me when I got off of social media. It's like,
in terms of like being behind on things.
Exactly.
Okay.
Not behind on events, but behind on trends. Like how kind of silly. Like I think a lot of even you and I, like our comedy style and a lot of our references literally come from meme culture.
Yeah, they absolutely do.
And so when I went off of social media, it's like, oh God, who am I without my meme references?
Yeah. Or like I'll like say something and you'll be like, what? And I'll be like,
yeah,
you're not on Instagram. Or I'll be like, do you see what I sent you? And I'll be like, why did I send it to her? She's not on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is that little bit of like FOMO, but
I could see that.
But like if people really want to send me something, they literally will text it.
Yeah, and like that's the nice thing about like Twitter and TikTok and Instagram is like it's the same thing with my mom. Like my mom will send me something from like Nextdoor, and I don't have the Nextdoor app.
Right.
But like she'll send me something from Nextdoor, and then I'm like, oh, like that's interesting. There's a mountain lion next door. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Anyways, I'm 70 miles away. But it's just like I could see that. I could see that FOMO being there, and it's completely understandable because the crazy thing about social media is how fast things churn or how fast things inflate and then they're gone.
Yeah, right. Like the phases are so fast.
Yeah, and it's almost like we were talking about before, like a deflection of attention from something.
Yes, and just like the amount of time and space that people have the ability to like focus on something is just getting so short.
Oh, it's super short.
It's
crazy.
So, even like something like a TV show for some people, a TV show or a movie, the media length and the media format is just too long. Even this podcast could be something that's too long and too drawn out for a chunk of people, and a lot of that, I mean, I would assume has to do with how quick hit information is now, you know?
Or like we need to spice up the topics. We need to spice up the conversation every now and then, right?
Quack quack.
You know what I mean?
Just
give people a little ducky duck.
Just give them a little sensory hit.
I was gonna spice up these people's ears with the sweet sound of our merch.
Oh,
let me listen. Let me play it for you guys in the audio. Do you guys hear that scruffle? You can't, because this is one of the best sweaters on the internet.
Yes,
it's the IRL merch sweater. Down description below. Rebrand.ly/Connor IRL.
Yeah.
Go check it out. We have all sorts of quality merch over there. T-shirts, long sleeves, all sorts of stuff. It's amazing. Coffee cups, I think we have coffee cups.
Yeah, I think we have coffee cups
back there, but go check it out. Go grab some merch. Send us a picture / tag me on social media specifically. Which is like we can now to circle back to the topic of like Instagram and stuff like that.
Okay, sounds good. Instagram.
So we hit the Twitterverse.
Yes.
We don't have to talk about the metaverse because I don't think we have. I mean, I'm on Facebook now with this podcast and the IRL stuff. But the Instagram. Let's hit Instagram.
Right.
Instagram's, I don't know how to describe it. Like the thing about Twitter is that it's very hard for Twitter to cater, I think. Versus like Instagram it's the same thing as TikTok.
The algorithm
nuts. Is so strong.
Right.
You could like for me, for an example, I'll like a picture of a Mazda RX-7. And knowing me, I'm already in the car algorithm on Twitter and Instagram. But as soon as I like that picture of the RX-7, my feed will be filled with RX-7s.
Right.
It's almost immediately.
Which it seems like that is a very innocent, low risk thing to like, right? But it's like, what about when that interest is amplified? That is like something extreme,
right? Or like when that interest is something that is a negative perspective on something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. How much of your kid and what you're exposed to then is.
Yeah, because like you could literally like
a doomsday.
Right, exactly. Like you could like a post about someone talking crap about a specific topic, right? And then in your brain, you liked it because you're like, oh, they're talking bad about something. But then it's like, that algorithm picks up that the post is kind of like a negative post, and then it'll start feeding you more and more negative posts.
And it's interesting because this is my experience. I don't know if you experienced this too, but when I was on Instagram, it was like, even if you didn't like it, but maybe you just watched the entire reel or like spent a lot of time looking at a specific picture or went into the comment section, like I feel like it was more than just likes, like or not like, or comment or not comment, or save or not save. It almost was like a timing thing. Because as soon as I started, Instagram introduced Reels, it was like when I started skipping, it's like, I don't want to watch that. Like, you know, it would serve it to me less.
Because you're saying like your retention on that type of video, you weren't interested in it. Right?
Yeah, yeah. And so it picked up that too.
Right.
So like, let's say that I don't even like a certain topic. Let's say like doomsday apocalypse.
Right.
Preppers. You know?
That's me, by the way. I've got a bunker out back underneath our pool.
Like that to me, a train wreck, you know, like I'm not interested. How do I explain it? It's like, I don't like that stuff. I wouldn't describe myself as a doomsday prepper, but it's almost like a train wreck. Like you can't look away, you know? Sorry to all you doomsday preppers, like mad respect, you know, like you'll be ready. But
we will not. We're going to be looking at our scanners.
But like, so now I'm looking at it for a specific amount of time, and Instagram's like, ooh,
You don't like that watch time, or you don't like watching that, so we're not gonna push it to you anymore.
Or I was thinking like, ooh, she watched it for a little bit. She's intrigued. Let's give her like 1 or 2 more. And
Yeah,
like,
see, I think it's a average view duration thing.
as soon as I started watching specific videos for longer amounts of time, because I never liked or disliked things on Instagram.
See,
Never ever.
that's where I'm different.
Yeah.
I'm different, guys.
Cool.
So I'll go in, and if there's like something that I'm really just like, I'm like, I don't want to see any of this crap. You can hold down the screen and you can click not interested, and it won't feed you stuff like that anymore.
That reminds me, like when, okay, well, some people still listen to Pandora, but like when Pandora was the listening platform, and you could have like radio stations, and you could like some, dislike something.
It was like a red one. There was another one, Last FM. Yeah, that's what it was. Last FM was on Xbox too. So I would listen to Last FM on Xbox.
Yeah, and you could completely like customize your
thing. You could stop. It wouldn't play the song specifically, but your odds of that song coming back up are more likely. But then they introduced like Pandora Premium or whatever, where you can like a song and then it'll play it again.
Yeah, but with Pandora,
you could have like 5 replay tokens a month.
I don't know if you experienced this, but you could almost like over tune your algorithm, and it's like, oh my god,
you're
it's
like,
playing
I want something new.
Yeah, it's playing the same 20 songs.
Yeah,
because I've it's
like listening to Sirius.
Tuned it.
Like listening to Sirius Top Hits where they play the same 10 songs.
They'll never sponsor us.
Oh my gosh, that's fine with me. I'm looking to get sponsored by like Napster or something like that. Do you not know what Napster is? What? Dude, all right, social media lesson here. Napster was like where you would pirate all your music.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
Yeah, that was Napster. And then you would like download the MP3, and it's like the Russian version of it, and you're like,
no.
Dang it.
My father would take care of all of our MP3 requests.
We got him. We got him.
Legally, of course. Legally, iTunes.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Check. Legally, check.
But yeah, okay. So Instagram.
Yeah.
What I do like. Here's what I do like. I think that it's very fun to be creative with like the stories, and like it's almost like an art.
Okay.
Like creating your stories and how they're arranged and all that.
Right. I'm just gonna bounce that off the wall a little bit there.
Okay.
And like how it would create like specific things.
It's visual. Like you can make your story be whatever you want it to be, and you can like color it different.
Barbie girl, be who you want to be. Barbie girl. I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Color different things. What do you mean?
Like you can make your story pink.
With the different filters and stuff?
Yeah. Sure. Or the different like colors that you can make it, or different stickers that you can add on there.
Oh, and like for me it'd be like links and stuff like that. Yeah. Like the different features.
Yeah, it's like very customizable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool. The scary thing about that though is that they archive all that stuff. So same thing with Snapchat. Like Snapchat like archives everything. Yeah. So you could think like, oh, that's gone for 10 seconds. That person saw that for 10 seconds.
Snapchat?
They have it.
Snapchat is a dark and scary place.
It's not good.
No.
It is not good.
Man, we were trying to keep this positive.
Yeah, sorry. Let's do a positive spin on this. Let's go back to Instagram stories. Instagram stories are really cool.
They're really fun.
Because like for us, like we have our like obviously like our motto behind like Spark and everything is to have a positive impact on the world through the content that we create. Right? That's the gist of it. And like the fun thing about the reels is that we can literally take a reel and a TikTok are the same format. And so we can make like a funny skit and like copy like whatever is doing great, and then have our own little spin on it and make sure that it's positive. And then we can just post it out there. And then it's not only like for us, we enjoy filming it and like like the Best Buy one. That was a really good one.
I love the Best Buy one.
The Best Buy one's really good.
Yeah.
And like it was super fun for us to go film, even though we parked in the Best Buy parking lot. You said this is what you need to do, and I said, okay, director. And I walked like a weirdo straight into Best Buy with the Geek Squad people behind me. But we can like add like funny things to it and like do our part in making the internet like a more positive and fun place to be on.
I agree.
You know,
I think that the like one key takeaway that I've kind of like realized about social media is that like social media is what it is, but it requires a huge amount of personal responsibility.
Okay.
So that you don't get sucked in or consumed or swayed or like whatever social media is going to do to you.
Okay.
And so for me, it was much easier for me to just like flip the switch and shut it off.
Right.
But I know for you, like your business and your profession is so heavily linked to social media that's like a much heavier decision for you to make.
Yeah.
Almost impossible.
Yeah. And it's not like, I mean, like even now, like I've kind of, I mean, like ever since you and I kind of sat down and had like our scheduling thing about like, oh, when should we be posting on this, and this, and like kind of like dialing all that stuff in. But the cool thing about that is like before I would literally go on to Instagram and TikTok to basically just consume. Like I wouldn't go on to kind of move on with like what we're like wanting to do with like
research.
Yeah, well, research and like wanting to post and like keeping up with people so that way people aren't just seeing me behind the camera when I'm playing video games or like when we're posting stuff on YouTube on this channel and stuff like that, right? Like the way that I like to use social media now, I mean like even today, like it's Valentine's Day, by the way, we're filming this. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I love you very much. I posted about us. Like I posted like a picture of you and me when we were at the Mavericks game. And like I think like those little things kind of break that glass wall between myself and like my amazing community that we have. Cause like for a while I would just get on like a couple posts and then be like, all right, cool. But like now it's like now that we have these scheduled posts,
you create content.
Yeah, and like I'm having fun creating that content for our viewers.
Yeah, and I think that's another important distinction. Are you a content consumer or are you a content creator?
Right.
You know, like how can you be a responsible consumer and how can you be a responsible creator at the same time, you know? Whatever that means to you, but I think social media I think people think about it a little bit more casually.
Okay.
And I don't think a lot of people realize how consumed
So what would
they are.
What would a casual consumer be then in your
me,
terms?
like a casual, like I think when I say casual consumer, I mean somebody who just doesn't think too hard.
Okay.
So I'm talking about like a college student, 20 years old.
I would think that'd be the person who was thinking into it as much.
So with casual consumption, you're just not really thinking about it. And like, I don't know if you've ever had those moments where you look around a restaurant or you look, if you're like on a bus, a train, a plane, like whatever, you look around.
Right.
Or like.
And there's the one guy in the corner by himself like, this is so delicious. And then there's the other guy scarfing down the food as it is, or is that what you're trying to say? No. Okay.
No,
Let's just go ahead and throw my suggestion out the window then.
You look around and everybody is just like life is passing them by.
Okay.
And they're on their phone.
That happened tonight when we were at dinner.
Did you like look around and like
I was on when we were eating our chips and guac.
Huh?
I looked over at the couple to our left and they were sitting right next to each other.
Right.
Which is what I like about what we do. We sit across from each other. So we can talk to each other. We can be face to face. This couple was next to each other and they were both on their phones for probably 20 minutes. And they were clearly like a couple, right? Like it's pretty obvious to tell if somebody's a couple.
You know what? Even if it's like mother-daughter or like whatever, like siblings, friends, whatever, like there's so many moments, especially now that I'm not on my phone a lot, just because if there's not social media, there's not actually a ton to do on your phone.
Right.
I mean, I don't really play games on my phone, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
So like I'm on my phone for, I think my usage is like 2 hours a day or something.
Yeah, and you have your
that.
like the new phones have like the time limit thing now.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Which brings me to Pinterest, because that's what I am on.
Right. Which is super useful because like that's like Pinterest is like life stuff, not about like society stuff. It's like life stuff.
Yeah. For me, like I want to be honest with myself. I feel like the more I'm on Pinterest, the more I use Pinterest.
Okay.
I think it's another one of those like slippery slopes where like you start to consume like specifically with me. I think if I'm not careful, I can really consume a ton of media.
Got it. Okay.
Like just down the rabbit hole, laying in bed, like
right. Like you're on Pinterest for like ever.
Right. But being on Pinterest doesn't give me the kind of like anxiousness of being on Twitter, or the kind of comparison feelings of being on Instagram.
Right.
Another thing that like you were talking about is documenting those and like sharing your life with viewers. I think as a consumer, it can become really twisted in your head about like yeah, sometimes life isn't Instagram reel, and it's okay. Like your life is beautiful even though it's not like picture perfect.
Right.
And that's another part of social media. It's rough.
Okay. Yeah.
But Pinterest, I find it to be like very inspiring. For some reason I'm able to like differentiate in my head of like, this isn't like a comparison thing. It's like I found a really cool new recipe and I want to try it.
Oh, okay.
You know, or it's like something I'm looking forward to.
Right. More like useful life stuff versus like, yeah. I guess my Instagram is like that too. My Instagram specifically, like from like grilling with dad and stuff like that, because I follow a lot of like barbecue and like Traeger and stuff like that. I get pushed when I go on Reels, like I'll get pushed their like recipes and stuff like that. And like, or like over the fire grill, like he does a lot of like really cool, like wild, like out in the wild kind of grilling stuff. And like that stuff, I'm like, dude, this is the best. This guy just caught like some salmon and is like cooking it right here.
Yep.
And like that kind of stuff, I'm like, oh, because I love cooking. I want to watch the chef show again. That was a fun show to watch. I just love cooking, and so like when I see like those types of posts, I'm in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a really cool post, and like I know that like what I'm watching, I'll actually be able to use in a real life situation, which is what gives me like that kind of confidence to make those decisions when we're cooking. Of like, if I just put it on this for whatever, it'll be fine. You know.
Yeah, I think that cooking is a really good example of something that can be easily translated from Instagram or from social media into real life. It's easy to apply, right? Like as long as you're comfortable in the kitchen and willing to take like some kind of
like a calculated risk.
Yeah, like cooking risk.
Right.
That's easy. But like
chicken's pink. I don't think it's supposed to be.
I could be like a total travel buff. You know, like that's what I like to look at on Instagram is like these beautiful pictures of beautiful places and people going on vacation. All of a sudden I like look around my four walls and there's this gap, you know, because now I've trained my social media to show me these beautiful exotic places, and all of a sudden what's right in front of me, which
the trash can
is a trash can, and it's so it's like so freaking cool that we get to be here. Just like to exist is the coolest thing.
Well, how do you think about like the metaverse and stuff like that? like later down the road, you're gonna be able to put on VR goggles and you're gonna be front row at Harry Styles.
Go.
At some point.
Go.
But then on the flip side, you could have VR goggles and be on a beach somewhere. And then I'll be spraying you with a spritzer bottle, and then you'd be like, the ocean.
Ocean spray.
The ocean spray. And I'll throw some salt in there and do the same thing.
You're like, the tsunami.
Run! And I splashed you with a bucket of water. Oh my god!
That's so messed. Or like you start like nibbling at my feet or whatever.
It's
like
crabs. Shark. So like that's crazy too. The thing about like the metaverse, like
or
that's like a thing.
My friend and my dear colleague Kathleen, she loves like the Quest Oculus for fitness.
The Meta Quest 2 or whatever it is now.
It's like for fitness and whatever.
Yeah. The Quest 2.
Loves it.
It's so cool.
And she's like a very fit person and stays in shape. And she said she's never had so much fun and gotten such a good workout. And she was like really surprised that it came from a virtual reality.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is like people will not buy that thing specifically because you have to have a Facebook account linked to it for it to work. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. I feel like such an old person, but sometimes I just am like, go for a hike or,
okay, yeah.
I'm just gonna whatever,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just an experience thing. I've done my time in VR. I've paid my dues. I've worn enough tight suits in order to pay the bills, okay?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've had to put on like medium motorcycle armor and film in like an 80-degree room for googly eyes. That was the worst. Those were some crazy days. That was when I was gullible, Connor.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not gullible still, but
yeah. So one thing I would like recommend to anybody, obviously I have a bias.
Okay.
Clearly, haven't noticed this podcast. Not a fan.
What would you say your bias is about?
I'm not a fan of social media. Okay. I attribute like my behavior with social media to like a lot of mental struggle that I've had in the past year or whatever.
I can see that. Yeah.
And I'm all about like personal responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that like social media is what it is. You're not going to change it, but you can talk about your interactions with social media, like as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my interactions with social media were way over the top. Like I was just
you were in the thick of it.
Yeah, I was. And so now being able to like step back and step out of it and once in a while just peek in. It's an effing circus on social media.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And I didn't even...
It's a dumpster fire of garbage.
I didn't even like realize the level of dumpster fireness.
Oh yeah,
you know,
terrible.
like someone at work told me, "Hey, I messaged you on Facebook. I just sent you something quick, like an article that I think could help you." So I'm like, gotta like armor up. I'm going back in.
Log in. You're like, what's my password?
I know. And then I went
Verification. What is this?
I went in and I just like, I looked and like, I like looked at my feed ever so briefly.
Right.
And I was like,
yeah,
like,
it's bad.
Whoa.
The first time back is the worst.
Yeah. It's some really deep.
The kickboxing class.
Deep stuff. Because it's either like the highs, like the highest highs or the lowest lows.
Right. And it's hard when you come back to it, it doesn't know what to push you. And so that's when it's like, okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of everything and see what happens. It's like overstimulating a kid.
Yeah. Even like not Instagram or Facebook like pushing you something, but even just like what's going on within your own peer group.
Oh,
you know, like what my friend from college is gonna post. It's either gonna be that like someone very close to her died. Or that she just graduated from whatever, or that she just got a car.
Dude, yeah. I mean, like coming from where I grew up, it was like anytime I logged on to Facebook, it was like a pregnancy photo. It was guaranteed a pregnancy photo.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right,
and
there's another person in the world.
And like on some level, does that make you think something about yourself?
No. Not specifically, because like I'm pretty like at the time I was, and I still am, like I'm okay with my situation, right? Like obviously like there's some things that we would like, there's some things that we would like to change, but like these are people that I know that they're both still, like the mom and the dad are still living with their parents and they're really, really young, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And like that, like for the past, like,
so maybe
since I graduated high school it's been like that where I'm like, well, it was only a matter of time.
Yeah. Maybe kind of not, maybe like pregnancy, like a tricky situation for you, but like a ripped guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just like absolutely shredded.
Okay. I follow a lot of those guys on Instagram.
How does that make you feel?
I think it's interesting because like right now, like maybe when I was lifting super hard and when I was lifting a lot, it was a judgmental thing either on myself or on that guy for being too big. But like with my mindset now, like I'm like, dude, good for you. Like you did it. I don't know what you're going to achieve now. You've got 18 abs.
Yeah, yeah.
But dude, you did it. You're shredded, bro.
Share the love, you know?
I appreciate your work and your grind, and I see what you're working for, man.
I see you.
Anyways, dude, what's up? Elgato? Exclamation mark Elgato in the chat. What's up, dude? Like I like now where I'm at, I understand like those people work really hard for what they do, and like that can go for a lot of different people on the internet. And so like my judgment, at least I don't feel, you can applesauce me if you think, but like my judgment is a little bit different nowadays. It's a little bit more softer and like try to
be empathetic.
Yeah, like and like look at the more positive side of things. Like don't bash at someone like speaking of like going back to the dude who's shredded, like that guy probably works out for 5 or 6 hours a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think like where my personally,
God, I want to be shredded sometimes. There it is.
Right
there it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Right there. Or like you see those like fancy cars, right?
Yeah.
And it's like want. I want what that person has.
Yeah.
And then like I look around at like what
our situation
we have, and it's like, oh God. But
yeah, but then like on the other perspective, like our viewers or like other people could be like, dude, like we have a very great life.
Totally.
Like I play video games for a living. Yeah. I edit videos for a living. Like talk about Team Edge. Like I literally do crazy stuff for a living, right? And like there's people like, you know, like that just don't have this type of leisure, but it's like I don't know, it's hard to kind of complain or understand like that side of things where it's like there's no matter who you are or what you have, there's always going to be something that you want.
Yeah. And I think that personally, like social media was so overstimulating to me and like constantly feeding me images or like videos of what I quote unquote should want.
Okay.
Like the better car, the better body, the better perspective on life. Like, you know, like why can't
the
I
Peloton? Do you want a Peloton?
No.
Buy a Peloton. I don't think anybody wants a Peloton right now. That's terrible.
It just to me, like it was hard to balance my perspective versus what social media wanted to think and all that.
Can see that.
So
yeah.
But I guess I like went on this road a few minutes ago. But if you are curious about your perspective and how that perspective would change if you took a break. I just like highly encourage it. And
yeah, like take like how long would you say recommend take a break? I've seen people take like 3-day breaks and they'll come back and they're like, I feel refreshed as a butterfly. And
no, that ain't
you
it.
need longer than that.
I mean, like, I'm sure that it is nice, but like that's a 3-day vacation. That's not attempting a different like lifestyle or a different view on life.
Okay.
I would say like for me, it took me maybe like 2 weeks to not reach for my phone and like try to scroll to that one app to open it. You know, where that was like my literal physiological response to holding my phone was opening and going for the social media app.
Yeah.
That took like 2 weeks, and what helped me with that kind of like detox, or like what you want to call it.
I just call it a break.
That break.
Yeah.
It helped me to have like a list of things that, you know, when I normally would be on social media, okay, how am I going to productively and creatively spend my time, so that I still feel just as good as when I was on social media, but it's not something that is so
like in your face,
so consuming and overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like doing a puzzle or journaling.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that when you quit social media, the big thing that happened was like you pushed really hard into journaling, and that and like even today, like I did it for a little bit, and I can't do as much as like
our styles are just different
yeah,
with journaling.
and our needs for the journals are a little bit different, which is completely respectable. But like watching you fill out that journal and like seeing how you creatively like itemize things is like incredible.
Yeah.
Like it's so cool to see.
Yeah.
And like for me, I'm just like, I can't do that. But like for you taking a break from social media allowed you to, instead of consuming like negative or neutral things, it was allowing you to create something that's going to benefit your life, which was really cool. It was really, really cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah. The Bailey.
Winking at you.
Bird. Like full on giving herself like a bath right now. But yeah, it was really nice. But if I'm being honest with myself, I feel myself kind of like creeping back into long stretches of Pinterest and like all of that. So I know now though how I feel when I'm not doing social media.
Right.
And so it's really easy for me to be like, all right, sounds good.
So on your phone, can you go in, because there's a time limit thing, right?
Yeah. So there's like I don't know what it's like technically called, but it's at the end of the day. You can set like a
Where'd you put it? Probably in the bathroom or something. Did you lose it? Oh, she lost her phone, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I feel it. So what is it? Downtime. Yeah. So you can set what your downtime is. Holy cow, that's another thing is like putting your phone away at a certain time.
Right.
Evening. Also game changer.
Yeah.
But you can set your downtime to not be on apps or on your phone from
and it'll tell you
9
like
p.m. to
right, and you'll log into that app and it'll be like,
hey, it's downtime.
It's downtime, and then you can be like, I need 5 more minutes. I need 10 more minutes. I need 15 more minutes. And then so like can you set like an app time limit for yourself?
Yeah, daily. So I have like 25 minutes on Pinterest. And so I can tell when I'm starting to get more consumed.
Right.
When it's like 10 a.m. and I'm out of Pinterest time or whatever.
You're like, I messed up.
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm
there
supposed to be doing something.
There goes all my Pinterest time. Right. But yeah, it's nice. I actually really think that it's a brilliant move on Apple's part to switch from the ideology that they need to create something that is like all consuming. And now they're catering to an audience who wants to have that
break.
freedom from their technology and feels a improved quality of life.
Yeah, definitely. And they've done a pretty darn good job with it.
Yeah, because
like even the UI for it is like almost playful in a way.
Yeah.
It's not like you've reached your time limit.
Like, hey,
go to bed. No, it's like, dude, you hit your time limit. You need 5 minutes to check something.
Yep.
All right.
And then there's also different like focuses or whatever. Have you messed around with that?
I have one for do not disturb, which is my bedtime one, and the only people that can call me is like my mom, my dad, and you. And then my work one is that it silences all notifications except Google Calendar and your phone calls.
Yeah. So that's another cool thing is like Apple's giving they
Quote,
now
unquote.
have your technology has the capability for you to like personalize what that focus time means to you, whereas before it was just like a floodgate of
notifications.
It's just everything comes through.
And it helps me too, because like I mean, like even with my Apple Watch and stuff like that, because they'll sync up. Like my Apple Watch will get the notifications from my phone and send it to me, but it's like, I mean, even then, like I don't even have notifications on for social media stuff.
Which is a good first step too.
I turned off all of my notifications a long time ago. I turned off all my notification stuff. So like if you're my more common people that I talk to on Twitter is like both Joshes, Josh from Arc and then Josh our mod. And then Mark and I will talk on Discord occasionally. But like for the most part, like a lot of my notifications are turned off. Just because like they're so distracting when I'm doing something, and it's very often that I'm doing something than not doing something, I guess. And so like when I'm focused in on like, let's say I'm recording a video, like I can't have any distractions. Otherwise it literally like will throw off the entire video. And so like Twitter for a long time was that, or Instagram was that. When people would send me stuff, it'd be like, meh, and my brain just automatically goes boop,
like a switch
straight to it. Like, what was that? And like getting rid of my notifications and stuff like that, especially for like the thing that would help you with like the work mode that you can set up. That helps out a ton because like then like I'm like, okay, I'm done recording, and then I'll turn it off, and then like I'll get the catered things that I need. Yeah.
So I think like bottom line. So like let's think about what we've talked about with social media so far. We did not even go into TikTok. Holy guacamole.
Right. I think we could partner TikTok into Reels.
I think so too.
I think there's like a very, very limited amount of, not a limited amount of people, but like there are people where TikTok kind of consumes them a lot. Not naming names, me. Because there was a while. I mean, even now, like I'll get on TikTok for a little bit, and I'll be like, oh, like I need to get off of this. But I feel like TikTok and Reels kind of they partner up with each other. Like they're on different sites, but they're kind of like the same almost now. It used to not be that way. And YouTube Shorts is way behind. I don't even know why. But I kind of package those two together in a sense, because like you even on TikTok you can kind of dislike, or you can say I'm not interested in that.
Personal.
Right, and then it won't feed you that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I think like for me, my like in conclusion statement,
wrap it up.
Yes, would be that like it would I think that it's important to like reflect about what you want your life to be like and what role you want social media to play.
Yeah.
And then set those boundaries with social media.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's all completely up to you. You are in control of that.
Yeah.
And it may not seem like it. You may be like, oh, like I can't. I just get so many notifications every day. Then turn your notifications off. Take control. Take control of it. stop getting distracted and live your life.
Right. And I think that it's just as long as you're being reflective about what's going on, because I think that a lot of people can just kind of get sucked in, and that just is their life, and they're okay with that. You know, like, more power to them. But it's when we just kind of go, I think, when we just kind of go with the flow of what, you know, we think should be happening, what, like, how we should be spending our time, whatever. And then, like, all of a sudden you, like, look up, oh, Jesus,
the sun is gone.
Like,
where did it go?
Yeah.
And you're like, my phone's at 2%.
Right.
I've done that plenty of times where you'll have a full battery, and then you'll be on TikTok for a little bit, and you're like, oh, my phone's dead. Well, that's not good.
Yeah. Yeah. So just being, like, realistic, and, like, also being real about what your capabilities are, and, like, what your boundaries need to be based on, like, your consumption habits.
Yeah, and set those boundaries and stick to them. Like, understand where you're at versus, like, where your consumption is, and then be like, okay, like, if you're behind on homework, like, that should be your focus, not being on TikTok. Like, and then set yourself, like, a 10-minute thing, and then be like, all right, I'm getting back to my work.
Well, and, like, also reflecting, like, okay, why is it that I feel like I need to go do, like, why do I feel like I need to go escape into TikTok when I have homework? How am I feeling? Oh, I'm feeling anxious.
Gotcha.
Oh, I could be coping
right
in these kind of positive ways, or whatever.
I can see that.
But just being real with yourself.
Yeah. And in conclusion, my conclusion is that, social media can definitely be catered to the specific type that you want it to be, whether that is positive, negative, or neutral. But your life will be better if you do not let it consume you.
Or you just, like, let it, yeah, I just think, like,
don't use it as a crutch is a good way of putting it. Like, don't let it be a crutch. And like, just be in control of what's happening in your real life versus, like, using it as an escape almost. Because that can be a very dangerous thing. So, before we wrap it up, before we call it a beautiful, beautiful night.
Yes.
We have a segment that we need to go over.
Yes. Okay. So we had this idea. We are excited to announce that we will be, between every podcast recording,
right,
we are going to attempt to watch a classic film.
Right. And so let's put a little bit of history behind this.
Yes.
So I have not seen a lot of movies. For example, I have not seen E.T. I have not seen
Grease.
You
hadn't seen Jurassic Park until a couple, like, less than a year ago.
Yeah, I watched Jurassic Park 1 and 2 in Florida when we came back from the pool.
Hadn't seen The Princess Bride.
I haven't seen The Princess Bride. I still haven't seen Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that either. So Mark suggested in our Discord, same thing.
Thanks, Mark, for all the bomb.
He's spying. He's just spying on us. He suggested that we do, like, a top 100 classic movies of all time.
Yep.
And then, so we'd take that, we're going to twist it, and then we're going to do a kind of, like, movie review, kind of like, what classic movie did we watch this year or this week? And what's going to be the movie for this week?
So I think we have some good options here. Well, let's start. Let's start with, I think E.T.
E.T.
is a great,
all right,
great way to start.
All right.
I would love to hear classic recommendations from the commenters and viewers.
Yeah.
Likely, if you put it in the comment section, he hasn't seen it.
Probably.
I'm telling you, like, he has not seen many movies. So, put down your all-time favorite suggestions, and we will we'll keep it in mind, and maybe your film will be the next one we review.
Right. Exactly. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate it.
We do have our member spotlight. Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for watching. We do have a member for our member spotlight of the episode. Goes out to the one and only Minotaur. Thank you so much for becoming a member. We appreciate you and your amazing family. We hope you're doing well. She had a surrogate baby this Christmas, actually.
Yep.
She just had it. So shouts out.
The best lady in the land.
The entire world. Okay, so videos are popping up right now as well, including the last time that we did a podcast here. Video to recommend specifically for you. Make sure you guys subscribe. If you guys are an audio listener, we appreciate you. Make sure you guys follow. If you guys want some more, check out the links down in the description below. Shouts out again to Elgato and Control for our beautiful sponsors. Go check out some merch. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Peace.